and Kudenov, Kent and Tomic. They've all had a go at this before. As for the Ukrainians, Shaplova and Kalikovska have all been in. Galyuk, I'm not sure whether Galyuk has been in this before. They're not going to make the same mistake again, are they?
No.
Clean start.
They actually staggered them then. You have two rules when you're on the line. You can either all line up straight up the line, or you can stagger about a metre back each rider. So that's, I think that was the safer option which they took up that time.
Yeah, it would seem a logical way to do it as well, really, wouldn't it? To be able to just drop in behind the lead rider. Now, it's all about keeping your formation, isn't it, with team pursuiting. In fact, it seems to be becoming more and more of a sprint event, so to speak, as time goes on. The riders are getting faster and faster and faster, and it's about the times are made up a lot of the time in the start as well as in the final stages.
Yeah, that was my thing when I first came to track racing. There wasn't that much emphasis on the start, and you can actually, you know, we actually have cameras on the start gate, and you can actually see how long you sit in the gate, and you can sit in the gate for 1-2 tenths, you know, and at the end of the race, if you're trying to win over 1,000ths, obviously so much time can be made up in the start. So I know a lot of riders do put now a lot more emphasis on the start and trying to get up to speed as quickly as they can.
It's Tomic at the front now. She'll just swing off, allow Sarah Kent to come through, just swing back down and take that wheel straight away. Well, it's pretty close at the moment. 0.2 of a second. The Ukrainians are down on Australia. It looks like one of the Ukrainians already beginning to suffer. It's all about keeping shape here. On the front, Kent pulls off, and Kudenov goes to the front. Nice compact unit at the moment. The Ukrainians seem to be getting it back together. They're pulling it back a little bit. The 2.2 of a second disadvantage is cutting down just very slightly. Can't afford to lose people here. Not at this stage. 3 kilometers is the distance, 3,000 meters. This is a 250-meter track. So they're at half distance now. And let's see what the next time check is. Oh, and the Ukrainians are beginning to slip back out again now, Jamie.
Yeah, definitely. They're starting to fade away now, aren't they? Fatigue setting in. And I think at this, because it is relatively new to the women, they're definitely, you know, have stronger riders than others. And once you're on the front, you don't necessarily know how your teammate's doing at the back. So quite often you do get gaps appear in the line.
Well, that, of course, happened with the Irish in Manchester. Back in Manchester in the end of October, the Irish David McCann, who's transferring to the track, fantastic. He's just broken Chris Boardman's national 25 record, so super fast, but he was doing lap and a halves rather than laps because he is strong. But of course the other guys couldn't do that, so it's all strung out quite badly. In fact, and I think it was him and Matt Bramier is now running for Ireland, who finished, and the other two boys were off the back, unfortunately. Now we're coming up towards the final stages here. 500 meters to go, just 2 more laps. They'll get the bell next time around. There's a huge gap now between Australia and the Ukraine. This is a bronze medal runoff, but the time will be the interesting thing to watch. Nice compact unit for Australia as they come up to take the bell. 3:09.58, and the gap is 3.2 seconds back to the Ukraine. A learning curve for the Ukrainians. A home medal for the Australians. It'll be bronze, but a good performance by these 3 girls, and then getting a little bit more compact in the line as they go over the finish. 3:26.869, 3.3 seconds back to the Ukraine. Bronze medal then to Australia. A good ride.
Yeah, really good technically as well. They were all in line, really holding their line really well, so it looked really good. And let's just hope they can improve on their performance a little bit and maybe work their way up to the top of the ranks for the next World Cup. But technically very good.
Yeah, still very young as well, and of course that power will come as the years come on towards 2012. I think Josephine Tomic is only about 19, something like that.
I know these riders are getting younger and younger, David. I tell you, I'm really struggling here at 36 to hang on there.
I hate to say it, but we were saying that we were looking at some of these riders saying, you said I'm old enough to be some of these riders' fathers. There we go.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Such is life.
What about longevity in track racing, though? It's not.
I think, to be honest, my personal view, that it's just down to how much you want it, you know. And obviously, at the end of the day, you are going to reach a point where your muscles start saying, "No, I don't want to do this anymore." But you know, that window, that line seems to keep going forward. You know, it's all about good health, and these days we have so fantastic support from the likes of EIS, you know, with physios and doctors, basically just keep you going. You know, recently I've had a back problem, but you know, having scans, you know, you get private health care, and you're seeing, you literally, you can call up your doctor any hour of the day and get seen to. So, and that's definitely just helping us keep going. And yeah, I think it's just more how much you want it, really. You know, I think 40's looking at, like, to me anyway, maybe the cut-off.
Well, they do say 40's the new 30, don't they? That's what they're saying. This then is the runoff for the gold medal between New Zealand, Roshni Buchanan, Lauren Ellis and Alison Shanks. Ellis and Shanks, the real powerhouses of this trio here, and Katie Colclough, Wendy Hoovenagel and Joanna Rousel of Great Britain. Oh, Boyd has come in for Buchanan. That's unsurprising, actually, because Buchanan not as experienced as Katie Boyd. The Britons keeping the same lineup. They are leading, of course. That is why they're in the white. And away they go. Well, steady start by New Zealand, dropping into a line. Shanks, Ellis and Boyd up against Colclough, Hoovenagel and Rousel. Katie Colclough, the youngest of the trio from Great Britain. You see pictures of her a couple of years ago. She really does look like a teenage junior racer, but she's slimmed down significantly since then. Very lean now. The World Championships on the road as well, of course. Let's see what the first, the 500-meter time split is. Oh, look at this. Great Britain down by nearly a half a second on the experienced Boyd, Ellis and Shanks in the All Black of New Zealand. Now, technically, they've got a very high swing.
And there is actually no set rule, and when you do change, as you said earlier, David, some riders could do 1 lap, 1.5 laps, even 2 laps if they're feeling really strong, but there's no actually set rule. And essentially, you don't even have to change at all, but obviously that would work. The rider in front would fatigue, but the riders will obviously play to each other's strengths, and if there's someone a lot fresher on the day or feeling a lot better on the day, then they sometimes may do longer turns.
Yeah, you have to really judge it, don't you? Because you may feel as though you can do a turn and a half, and then do a couple of them, and then absolutely die, which leaves the rest of your team in real dire straits. And
what I did find out was interesting. This is normal, or quite often there might be a game plan, but sometimes people change without even knowing. There's not always, you don't always necessarily know when your teammate is going to change. They're literally in the front. If their legs are starting to hurt, then they'll just pull up and get to the back.
Half distance then, and New Zealand comprehensively up at the moment. It's 0.8 of a second against Great Britain. However, is there a long-term plan here? Remember, it's 3,000 meters, so they're over the halfway distance, and they're beginning to peg back. 1/10 of a second taken back by Great Britain now. Let's see what the next time check brings. Oh, it's gone back out to 0.8 again. It's holding steady then, as they come up towards the 2,000-meter mark. 2 kilometers covered. Oh, it's gone out over a second. Stepping on the gas now are New Zealand, or is it that Great Britain are just easing back, or not easing back, or just slipping backwards? Hoovenagel and Rousel very, very experienced at this. Colclough less so. Looks like it went to Hoovenagel at the back at the moment. I would say that the gas is being turned on by the New Zealanders.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure they want to win this convincingly, and they've got their pacer, if you wanted. They'll have a coach at the side of the track giving them some basic instructions on how well they're doing, so they'll know how well they're doing in terms of pace and times. They'll ride to what we call a schedule. The coach will have a predetermined time, basically, he wants his riders to ride to, and that's good information for the rider.
And they're coming up to take the bell now. It's 1.5 seconds. A comprehensive win by New Zealand, barring all unnatural disasters and all hitting the deck. And just dropping off the back shows how much effort is being put in the front by Alison Shanks, the world individual pursuit champion, and Katie Boyd, I think it is, who's suffering in the back. 1.1 second.
Now, do you know, because I know in the men it's the third man that crosses the line. Here it's the second man.
That's correct, okay. Yeah. So New Zealand take the victory comprehensively over Great Britain. Great Britain will top the table still, because they won last time out. Lizzie Armistead, Joanna Rousel and Wendy Hoovenagel winning in Manchester ahead of Branna Jus and Sandig of Germany. Australia with third.